Well, hi, Justin.
Hey Heather, how's it going? Now that the sirens are past.
Now that the sirens are past, and we don't have to worry about having the thought police show up and taking you off.
I was hiding under the couch.
Was that very effective?
No, not really.
I don't know if you can see what it says on my shirt.
The book was better.
That's all.
That's it.
That's it.
It's just. I feel so bad every time I say that. Like.
Yeah, but the book was better.
But it is. It almost always.
It almost always is. The one where I will give props to the movie without reservation. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I can see that. I haven't seen that in forever.
Oh.
The movie version. I do like the gentle wafting of the feathers in the background.
Do you?
On the shelf. Yeah.
You like that kind
it's
of
nice. I originally thought it was like a cat, like about to come out and just.
It looks kind of like it. No, it's a Venetian carnival mask that my friend Meg got me. But unfortunately, in Oceania, they don't have anything fun like Carnival to look forward to. They get 2 minutes of hate, though.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, there's a funny little quote in this chapter about 2 minutes of hate that I thought was interesting. We'll talk about that later. But
okay.
Have you had any 2 minutes of hate in your life over the past week?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yes, actually. There have been a couple of times where I rage against the dying of the light or the machine. You can rage against the machine too.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was actually probably raging against the machine. Come to think of it. And I found it to be wholly ineffective, but that could have been because I was in a room by myself.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot better when you have a bunch of comrades around.
Yes. Comrade Justin. That's right. I was supposed to greet you. Hello, comrade.
I'll clip it in. Comrade Heather.
So good to
Bend
see
over
you.
and touch your toes right now.
No.
I can't either. I don't blame you.
I can. I'm just not gonna. Because I still have the freedom to say,
True.
I'm going to exercise that right as long as I've got it.
It's my favorite kind of exercise. The right to choose.
That's right. My right to say no. What, are you kidding? Yeah.
Right.
And that was actually one of the things that I liked the best about this chapter. So far, this was the first chapter that felt like life in this society is livable.
Yeah,
which is
there's
good and bad.
A certain amount of individuality that can be lightly, I guess, expressed at work.
Yeah.
But
not to any consequence. Like you never get any
right.
attaboys or attagirls from it, but
mm-hmm.
you can you get to see Winston actually doing something.
Right.
Which is kind of
cool. That he
cool.
seems to be proud of.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also interesting, I thought, that that it is really a fundamentally creative endeavor that we get to see him do, which is also kind of fun. But we have more to talk about after the chapter. But if we mentioned last time that between chapter 3 and chapter 4 was an excellent time to watch Brazil. There's another movie that I didn't think of until I was listening to this chapter for the I don't know how many at the time. Did you ever see a movie called The Hudsucker Proxy?
No.
I'm not
surprised. I don't know if I've ever heard of it.
I'm not surprised. So it's a Coen Brothers movie. And I think this was right after they did Barton Fink. They decided to do something, light and fun. But all of their stuff always has like moral. They're nice Jewish boys. They have moral conundrums that always pop in at some point. So this is the poster for Hudsucker Proxy. You can see it is not a nobody cast. It's Tim Robbins, it's Paul Newman, it's Jennifer Jason Leigh, and it's It is all about hula hoops for reasons that won't make any sense anytime soon. You can see kind of the gear behind Tim Robbins.
Yes.
So it is its own kind of Brazil-ish thing. And
interesting.
it is. It's an interesting movie. It is not a perfect movie. So Hudsucker Proxy and Brazil are good reference points because they both use pneumatic tubes, which is something that we just do not see anymore.
Gosh, right. I did use one at the bank teller.
They still have them sometimes.
Yesterday. They do, and I was like, oh, yeah.
It's so much fun. Yeah.
I remember being a kid and being like, I wish I could just shrink myself so I could get into this tube and ride around.
Yeah. The other thing that I looked up was the word rectify, because something pinged me when that word came up, because it comes up several times in this chapter. To rectify is to make something right, to correct it. So in order for you to have to rectify something must have been wrong in the first place, which will make more sense very, very shortly. Oh, palimpsest. It is not a term that gets used very often. Palimpsest. This goes back to monks, I think. This goes back a long way. When you were writing on vellum, when you were writing on sheepskin and goatskin, and you had to, tan the skin and then do all the stuff to soften it to make it right onable, you still wound up with these fairly thick sheets of vellum, of skin parchment, and that was expensive. And as time went on, some books not necessarily fell out of favor, but out of use. And so the monks would go in with knives, special knives, and you'd wet the vellum again, and then you'd scrape the ink off.
What?
So you could re-ink it, which is totally cool. And wow, recycling, way to go, guys. But what would happen was over time, and depending on how long that book had been in its original form, there would be ghostwriting left behind.
Oh, cool.
So a palimpsest is something where you can tell there was a past version.
Oh.
And you have that kind of ghostly shadow of a past indicated, but not clear. So palimpsests are really cool. As a kind of visual metaphor.
I completely misread that going through the chapter, I think.
I think the first 400 times I came across that word, it was when I was reading it on paper, you just look at it and go, oh, that P word, and you keep going. It's like Russian novels. Oh, the guy whose name starts with an R, or the guy whose name starts with a D, him again. I don't say the names in my head because they don't resonate. Yeah. So why hassle sounding it out every time? And there's nothing else I can think of that anybody's going to need heading into this sucker.
Yeah, I can't think of a thing.
I think we got a lot of it last week. A lot of the groundwork that you needed to have. Certainly, anybody who lived through or watched any of the Cold War, but especially the 50s and 60s in the Cold War, there are going to be all sorts of bells that ring, I think, for them in this chapter. But we can talk about that after the read.
Yep, after the skippity-doo-dah.
Indeed. All right, so go read.
Yeah, side B coming up.
All right. We good?
Yep.
I'll wait for the siren.
Yeah, wait for... Hopefully they're not coming here. That happens.
Seriously? Where are you living? I
don't know, in between a dumpster and bunch of crazy people.
How awesome for you.
It is pretty entertaining.
Oh.
In living downtown in Boston, I've seen just about everything, so it'd be hard to phase me at this point with the proles behavior.
Awesome. That's blooper reel material.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You poor thing.
It's fine.
All right.